we have basic run calls being called out there, basic play pass calls, basic, passing game calls. It's not necessarily a game plan for us out there. So I don't look at our run game, tonight as something to be discouraged about. It is what it is.
So just what went wrong in the Las Vegas Raiders versus Miami Dolphins preseason game? After watching that game, I was prepared to say that things went wrong when the Dolphins took the field. Initially, and well into the night, I felt it was an absolute embarrassment. Yes, there were some decent plays, but overall, I felt it was an embarrassment. I was prepared to do a breakdown video today and produce it and show you some of the failures in performance on some of the players. And I also was going to highlight what I thought was mismanagement of a game plan by Mike McDaniel and some pretty bad play calling. I actually cut down a bunch of plays, was prepared to spend Sunday editing, and then at the last moment, I took a look at the presser, the post-game presser with the Miami Dolphins, and I got stopped dead in my tracks. Warning, what I'm about to say is going to sound bat crazy. I know it will. But just think, I just want you to actually think about what you're about to hear. It appears to me that Mike McDaniel is playing a game of high-stakes poker. I know a lot of people out there call Mike McDaniel a nerd, but is he actually more of a mad scientist than even most of us choose to believe? While there were indeed some really awful plays in the game, like Larnell Coleman jumping on a 4th and 1, like Teddy Bridgewater running around back there like a rookie getting caught for a safety. What the f***, man? And then it hit me. Could Mike McDaniel actually be playing the preseason as a huge game of poker? Before you say I'm nuts, before you just eliminate and say Barry's gone crazy, I want you to listen to a couple things that happened in the post-game presser.
What I do know is that the last two opponents, this one a little bit more so than the other one, our players were caught off guard with something they hadn't seen on tape really.
Wait, what? Isn't it the head coach's job to make sure the team is prepared? I understand that Josh McDaniels is the new head coach of the Raiders, but he's basically been calling the same plays for over a decade or more with the New England Patriots. The same Patriots the Dolphins have been spanking of late. How could they not be prepared?
It does raise the urgency for the offensive line, tight ends, and receivers blocking. But at the same time, I'm not panicked because, I would be more panicked if they were entering into something that we had totally prepared them for, and we still weren't able to displace people on the line of scrimmage and do things of that nature. So it's cause for your attention, but at the same time, there's no panic button. It's really, okay, can we learn from this? Now the same thing happens next week. That will be more concerning for me.
So Mike McDaniel just said that he's not in a panic whatsoever. Yeah, there's a sense of urgency, but there's no reason to panic. He admits that the Dolphins weren't prepared for what they were seeing from the Raiders, but there's no reason to panic. Huh? There are 3 questions I would have asked if I was sitting in that room, if I was one of the reporters sitting in that press conference. 1, what were you expecting? 2, what are you expecting to learn if the players weren't prepared for what they saw? And number 3, will they be prepared next week, and how are you going to prepare them? But of course, none of the sports journals in the room dared ask those questions.
Again, there's just some stuff that really we didn't adjust to as well as I would have liked. At the same time, it's not all on them really. There were some things that I did expect them to get, some things I'm not surprised that they didn't get.
It was at this point where I put down my iced tea and blueberry muffin and started watching intently. I'm going to tell you this right now. The word surprised doesn't normally come out the mouth of an NFL head coach. And for that matter, it doesn't come out of the mouth of a college football coach. I don't ever recall any of my coaches saying that they were surprised by anything. I have a question. If they weren't prepared, what were you expecting them to miss? His words, not mine, his words exactly. I'm not surprised that they didn't get it. Have you ever heard an NFL head coach speak like that?
the game was kind of taken out of their hands a little bit at the beginning with some of the stuff they were doing. We kind of had to transfer and do some drop back stuff, and I thought they protected the quarterback well enough where it was never a situation where they had to get rid of the ball too early. The tight ends got beat on a horrendous play call with Teddy in, but outside of that, I think it was a pretty safe, well-protected game from them. We just need to go look at the tape and understand, okay, well, when teams are pressuring us in the run game and their feet are like this, we need to adjust like this.
So he's going to watch tape, and he's going to tell an NFL lineman and NFL tight ends what to do to adjust the pressure and to watch foot placement. Seriously? Another question. After the pressure they experienced last week, and then again early in this game, what were the halftime adjustments? They didn't pick up the pressure well, they didn't block the run well, and yet there were no halftime adjustments that we know of. Why not?
That's why it's a process really for all the run game stuff and protection. I was pretty happy with. So we'll just keep working next week and see how good we can get for game one.
No big deal. It's a process. We'll watch some tape. We'll play again. We'll see what happens. No big deal here. What? Is that anything an NFL head coach says? We'll see what happens. And then again, every reporter in the room just sat there and accepted that answer. And that was it. Mike McDaniel was done. I'm out. Peace out. Are you kidding me? Whew. Then it was Tua Tagovailoa's turn at the podium. And you got to hear this.
I felt there were some things that we needed to clean up on, pre-snap operations, and then, also just everyone playing together, us all knowing our assignments and knowing what to do.
Remember, you're listening to an NFL QB at an NFL presser. Not high school, not college, the friggin' NFL. And the starting quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, just alluded to the fact that his teammates don't know their assignments. They have spent a month in camp running through plays, and he just admitted, hey, they don't know their assignments. By now I'm watching this and I'm screaming at my monitor. My wife thinks I'm crazy, and I'm really starting to think that the season is in jeopardy. Seriously, hearing all this tells me the season is in huge trouble, and nobody seems to be worried. Nobody seems to be panicked. And then Tua Tagovailoa, the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, says this.
We have basic run calls being called out there, basic play pass calls, basic, passing game calls. It's not necessarily a game plan for us out there. So I don't look at our run game, tonight as something to be discouraged about. It is what it is. We only had what calls we had, and that's what that was.
It is what it is? What the are you telling me? Then I had to rewind because I couldn't believe what he just said. Please, dear God, tell me that Tua Tagovailoa didn't tell the sports journalist sitting there at the presser and the entire Dolphins fan base that it is what it is. So I hit rewind to listen closely to what he said.
We have basic run calls being called out there, basic play pass calls, basic, passing game calls. It's not necessarily a game plan.
The starting quarterback of an NFL team who is playing for an offensive genius, as Mike McDaniel has been described, just told us that their plays were basic. They were running basic running plays, basic passing plays, and they didn't even have a game plan. And that's when it hit me. Mike McDaniel must be playing the ultimate game of Texas Hold'em. He's totally bluffing his way through the preseason. Bear with me here. 1, he admitted his players weren't prepared. 2, he admitted that he didn't really make any adjustments. 3, he admitted that he wasn't surprised that some things went wrong. And number 4, his quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, said there's no game plan in place. Remember, this is a quarterback who's been taking massive heat in the media, who calmly walked up to the podium, looked into the camera, looked at the sports journals, and said, hey, we ran basic running plays, we ran basic passing plays, and we didn't really have a game plan. That never happens. Do you really think that after seeing what you've seen over the last 2 preseason games that you would expect any NFL quarterback or any NFL head coach to say, it is what it is? Hell no. No QB or coach would ever say that. Mike McDaniel is holding his cards close to the chest, not showing anybody anything, and it seems that the players have fully bought in. He wants these guys to get through the preseason, blow past these meaningless preseason games, and be ready for week 1. Mark my words, he is going to use the period between August 28th and September 10th to make all of his adjustments and execute the full playbook, and he will show up on September 11th with a game plan. On September 11th, the Dolphins play the Patriots. You know, the team that Josh McDaniels just came from. And I bet there was no way he was going to show Bill Belichick's boy what he was running. I'm beginning to think that Mike McDaniel is one clever dude. I could be wrong, but you tell me. Have you ever seen at any time an NFL quarterback and an NFL head coach basically shrug their shoulders and go, yeah, whatever, it is what it is? Let's just hope that Mike McDaniel is holding a pair of pocket aces, because it seems like he's seriously bluffing his way through the preseason. I'd love to know what you think. I may be way off, and indeed I may be batshit crazy, but you heard their words directly. If I'm wrong, you explain it to me. You explain it to me differently. You tell me in a comment how an NFL quarterback says, it is what it is. It just doesn't happen. And also an NFL head coach saying, hey, my guys weren't prepared. Are you kidding me? Something is up. Something is up that nobody's checking on, that nobody's digging in, but something is up. Let me know what you think, and if you'd like to see any of my other videos on the Miami Dolphins, go ahead and pick one of the 2 sitting right here. Talk to you soon. Fins up, but something's up.
It is what it is.